the Allocation Committee meeting. Our public hearing today, well, we'll be hearing testimony on 3 funding areas today: the early childhood investment area, the foster care investment area, and child abuse prevention and intervention investment areas. And I just want to introduce myself. I'm Portland City Commissioner Dan Saltzman, also the chair of the Allocation Committee. On my left is Serena Stoudemire-Wesley, who is the Multnomah County Citizen Representative. On my far right is Mitch Horniker, who is the Portland Business Alliance's representative. And on my immediate right is Julie S. Young, who is the City of Portland's Citizen Representative. You may notice we're not joined today by County Chair Marisa Madrigal, and I wanted to read the email that she sent to us this morning. As you may know, we are now in an historic period here in the state of Oregon, and Marisa said, "Good morning, all. We're expecting the judge to issue a ruling at noon today on freedom to marry in Oregon. We've had folks lined up at the Multnomah building since before 6 a.m. If the judge rules in favor of allowing same-sex marriages to begin, I will need to stay here to manage media, traffic, and miss the Children's Levy Allocation Committee meeting. If I do miss the meeting, I will watch the testimony online and would ask that applicants with additional information just email me. Thank you for your understanding, and please let me know if you have any concerns or questions." So Marisa is very busy, as the judge just overturned Measure 36 less than 30 minutes ago. But as she said, she will be watching this online, and feel free to send her emails, or for that matter, any of us emails in the intervening time between the hearings and when we vote very shortly. So I just wanted to say, I also wanted to introduce the staff. Levy Director Lisa Pellegrino over here, Assistant Director Meg McElroy, Lisa Hansel, Mary Gay Broderick, and John Kelly. I think John and Mary Gay are outside. And first up is our approving the minutes from our meeting last Monday, May 12th. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I second it.
Okay. Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved. And before we get going, I just wanted to say that the decision we are going to be making on May 30th and on June 2nd to fund programs is really the result of a 3-step process. It started with the strategies and goals that the Allocation Committee adopted back in November of 2013. Second, we asked review panels and staff to provide us with their recommendations. And finally, it's up to the Allocation Committee to use its best judgment and hopefully wisdom after weighing all the factors, recommendations, and testimony to arrive at its funding decisions. So it's a 3-step process. And today, as well as at our meeting last Monday, the applicants will have an opportunity to testify. And as I said, we meet again on May 30th to begin making our funding decisions, and on June 2nd, where we will hopefully finalize our funding decisions. So now we will start, and the way we're going to do it today, we're going to have, for each funding area, starting with early childhood, we'll ask any applicant that wishes to testify on behalf of their program to come up here 3 at a time, 3 applicants at a time. Each applicant will be given 2 minutes, and you may divide that 2 minutes up between yourselves if you want to bring somebody up with you, but we will rigidly adhere to the 2-minute testimony limit. And we'll go down by program area. So we'll do early childhood first. Any applicants that want to testify in early childhood will come up. Next, we'll move to foster care. Again, any applicants that wish to come up, each applicant will have 2 minutes. And then finally to child abuse prevention and intervention, same drill. So now we will start with staff recommendations. And Lisa Hansel and Meg McElroy.
Before we get started explaining our recommendations, we wanted to take a moment just to review for everyone who's here at the meeting, as well as for our allocation committee and anyone viewing at home, the kind of recap on how we arrived at today. So we have just a couple of quick slides to kind of walk you through that process. Just to set the stage, there were, among all of the applications submitted, over 3 times the amount requested from applicants as there are dollars available by the levy, just going to show that we have a lot of programs in this community doing fabulous things for kids and unfortunately not enough resources to help support them. And with the goal of limiting the total number of grants in order to make a greater impact with levy dollars and to make administration more efficient, we created a set of strategies in each program area based on public input, and have crafted our recommendations with that backdrop in mind. The table on this slide helps demonstrate the number of applicants in each of the 3 categories that are on today's agenda, as well as the funding that was available in each of those program areas, the total funding that was requested by applicants, and the ratio of requested funds to what is available by each program area. So as you can see, the greatest demand for resources was in the child abuse prevention and intervention program area. Please recall that last summer and fall, we ran an extensive community public input process to help identify and prioritize the needs in each of the program areas that are supported by the levy. We also reviewed relevant local data resources and information and used those pieces of information as well as the community needs and priorities to shape the strategies in each of the program areas. Those strategies reflect the highest priorities that came out of public input, as well as priorities that are identified for specific communities, geographic communities, and populations that need services in Portland. The allocation committee used this information to adopt those strategies and incorporate them into each of the RFIs for each program area. Staff recruited 80 volunteers to review and score the applications that were submitted. Teams of 5 reviewers scored the same set of 6 to 10 applications using scoring criteria that were published with the RFIs in each program area. Application total scores reflect an average of those 5 individual scores plus any bonus points awarded by staff. In addition, Portland Children's Levy staff reviewed the financial health of each applicant agency using a tool that was developed by our auditors, McDonald Jacobs. To provide additional information regarding staff's funding recommendations, as well as some of the definitions staff used to understand how applicants met priorities, I want to make sure folks remember to look at the guide that was handed out with the materials today that accompanies the recommendations. One last slide, just a reminder for the upcoming decision-making meetings. The allocation committee will be meeting on May 30th to make funding decisions in the program areas of hunger relief, mentoring, and after school. And then we'll reconvene again on June 2nd to make funding decisions in early childhood, foster care, and child abuse prevention and intervention. All right, with that, I want to kind of set the stage for some overall criteria that staff used in formulating its recommendations in each of the program areas. Generally speaking, we looked to applications where the proposed activities fit clearly with the strategies in each of the RFIs. We looked toward applications that scored highly and had strong overall program design. We looked to applications that convincingly met the priorities that were put into each of the RFIs for each of the strategies, and applicants that demonstrated experience and or the necessary infrastructure to manage the proposed program and grant. Conversely, programs that were not recommended may have had one or more of the following concerns: did not fit clearly with the program strategy in the program areas, scored on the lower end of the score range, had several or substantial program design concerns, addressed few or no priorities in the program area, and had limited experience or infrastructure to implement and manage the proposed program. From here, I'm going to talk a little bit about staff's specific rationale in the funding area of early childhood, and Lisa Hansel will then speak to child abuse prevention, intervention, and foster care. Generally speaking, in early childhood, staff prioritized high-scoring applications and gave weight to applicants that address the levy-wide priorities of being culturally specific programs and organizations, or programs primarily serving East and/or North Portland. For all three strategies, the applicants in this particular in this particular program area for all of the strategies met most or all of the priorities, so priorities played less of a role in informing staff's recommendations because nearly all of the applicants had addressed them. Similarly, among currently funded grantees, they have generally strong past performance, so that had less of a, that did not help differentiate as well among the programs. Then staff looked to the specific strategies in the RFI and based its recommendations accordingly. Within the home visiting strategy, staff looked to increasing the service intensity of some programs to better align with the requirements in the RFI as well as with best practice, to funding a new program that filled a service gap in the community, and to preserving the Levy's Levy-funded early Head Start capacity in the community. With the preschool, Head Start, and preschool-like experiences strategy, staff looked at expanding the availability of structured preschool-like experiences while also preserving the Levy-funded Head Start and early Head Start capacity in the community, and trying to balance the three approaches in that strategy of preschool classrooms, Head Start, and structured preschool-like experiences. And finally, the third strategy in early childhood, with early childhood mental health consultation strategy, only one applicant addressed that strategy and scored very highly, and staff weighted that based on its past performance, its high score, and its proposed expansion to East Portland.
Thank you. The rationale for funding is basically the same for child abuse prevention, intervention, and foster care. Staff only recommended funding for applicants that clearly fit within at least one of the stated strategies that they propose to address. Staff prioritized applications that were high scoring. Staff also gave weight to applicants that proposed to provide services to populations overrepresented in foster care and or services to high-risk populations. Also to those who addressed the stated priorities, either levy-wide or specific strategies, have a strong program design, offer intensive services, have no or minimal concerns regarding past performance, and have the experience and infrastructure to deliver the proposed set of services.
Any questions for us?
Any questions by the committee? Okay, thanks, Lisa and Meg. And so, unless there's any further statements from the committee members, we'll go ahead and start testimony. Okay, so starting in early childhood, how about a show of hand? How many participants do we have to testify? Okay, I count about 12 to 13. So again, there's no particular order, but if three of you will come up at a time. We have 3 microphones here. And welcome. And I would ask if you give your name, the organization you're associated with, and you have 2 minutes, and there's a clock there at the table. You'll get a little warning bell at 30 seconds, when you have 30 seconds left. So why don't we start with you? Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Saltzman and members of the Allocation Committee. I'm Sadie Feibel, Director of Juntos Aprendemos at Latino Network. 90% of the children who participate in Juntos make measurable gains in early learning objectives that prepare them to be successful when they enter kindergarten. PCL has prioritized serving families in East Portland, investing in culturally specific organizations, and consolidating funds by granting fewer, more substantial contracts. Of those considered for early childhood funding, Latino Network is the only culturally specific organization serving Latino children in East Portland, and we scored highest of all proposals in the preschool-like strategy. Our proposal includes expansion to 2 additional sites in East Portland where community demand for our program is at least double our current capacity. Yet our proposed expansion to Shaver Elementary and 1 additional East Portland school has been specifically excluded from the staff recommendation. We urge you to change that by approving our full request to support Juntos Aprendemos at all 7 schools. We have support from the Park Rose Superintendent, Shaver Principal, Sun's Site Manager, and Latino parents at Shaver who have been asking Latino Network to bring Juntos Aprendemos to Shaver for the past 2 years. We appreciate the Levy's current and past support for Juntos. PCL funding has been and will continue to be critical to the sustainability of this community-driven solution to the disparities that young Latino children face in Portland. Together with PCL funding and our effective model, we can reduce disparities. Maria's going to take our last bit.
Hi, my name is Maria Ramos. I did 2 years with my daughter, Rochelle. She learned a lot. She learned letters, numbers, colors. She really loved the program. The teachers are awesome there with the kids, and she really improved a lot, and she will be going to Head Start with knowing a lot of different things now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, next three applicants. Welcome. Again, if you just give us your name and your organization, and you each have 2 minutes.
Anaí, my name is Elise Sanchez. I'm a member of the Little Shell Tribe and the Early Childhood Services Manager at NEA Family Center. At NEA Family Center, we view early childhood not just as a means to an education, but as a means to poverty reduction. A full day of preschool is the missing piece that is key to our entire long-term early childhood strategy. It makes our work possible, and it works for our families, the majority of whom are single-headed households headed by women who need to jump the gap from social services to meaningful education, employment, and staying out of poverty long-term. If our preschool were funded, a youth could enter our early childhood services at birth and have a full spectrum from birth to kindergarten. Additionally, a full day of preschool allows us to have slots set aside for our kids who are younger threes, who traditionally might not get served in Head Starts for a full 2 years, as Head Starts prioritize 4-year-olds. Preschool would help our kids develop academic, social, and emotional skills to enter kindergarten. Most of the kids in our early learning experience deficits in those areas. In our client base, families who have children who are served for full 2 years of Head Start have better results and are entering kindergarten on time and ready to learn.
And I'm Rebecca Brown Schroeder. I'm speaking as the lead partner on Social Venture Partners Portland's investment in NEA's early childhood programs. SVP's strong commitment to readying all children for kindergarten is supported by the work of my fellow partner, Dr. Stephanie Feeney, PhD, who's been advising NEA on the development of a coordinated system for the provision of high-quality, culturally specific early childhood education for Native children ages 0 to 5. SVP is investing in NEA's high-quality programs because we've seen firsthand that NEA is uniquely positioned to serve some of the most underserved children in our community. They do so with excellent wraparound outcomes-focused programs created in the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and transparency. I urge you to support NEA's early childhood application at the full request.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is Chris Russo. I'm the Chief Academic Officer of Reynolds School District. I want to thank the PCL staff for the strong rating of the collaborative proposal from the Reynolds School District, the Opal School at Portland Children's Museum, and I Have a Dream Oregon. At the same time, we are, of course, disappointed that despite the staff's strong ratings, we are not currently recommended for funding. I strongly urge the allocation committee to give careful consideration to the project's merits for at-risk student outcomes and sustainability. And I believe that the partnership is most worthy of your support, and I want to highlight 4 key elements. Number 1, the Reynolds School District is 100% committed to the incorporating innovative, research-based, and collaborative practice in launching pre-K efforts in Reynolds. As I said when I visited the Opal School several months ago, Reynolds must do business differently, as evidenced by this unique proposed partnership with the Opal School and I Have a Dream. Number 2, specific to scalability. This project holds unique potential to move the broader systemic needle in terms of outcomes for students from severe poverty. Our 2 partners, Opal School and I Have a Dream Oregon, have already demonstrated that they have the commitment and the capacity to build on the success of this project to help others replicate it. Opal embeds a center for learning that engages thousands of pre-K professionals in Portland across the state of Oregon, throughout the U.S. and beyond, who learn from their exemplary pre-K model. Number 3, the Children's Levy has an extremely rare opportunity to support pre-K and early childhood in a context of an already existing collective impact, cradle to career framework via the Alder Dreamer School Partnership. 4. Finally, this project is very much a public-private partnership. We fully expect to leverage a PCL investment into sustainable private dollars, both to enhance our early childhood and parent outreach efforts. Cutting-edge, research-based, replicable pre-K and early childhood models cannot be accomplished in silos. We respectfully request that the city stand with us and forge ahead with a game-changing collective impact for private-public partnerships. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have 3 more applicants. Welcome. Again, just give us your name and your organization, and you have each have 2 minutes, and we'll start with you, ma'am.
May I start?
Oh, sure.
Maria's with me.
Okay.
I'm Kathy Kime Robinson, Student Services Director in Park Row School District, and I'm here with Maria Perdomo from Metropolitan Family Services Ready, Set, Go program, and I'm here to request that you support this recommendation for funding the Ready, Set, Go program at Shaver Elementary. Shaver has been supported by Metropolitan Family Services as its lead agency for its SUN program for the 12 years that it's been operating. And we see that that partnership will help support a strong implementation of the Ready, Set, Go program at Shaver. We have 91% free and reduced lunch, and students primarily come to us without previous preschool experience. 34% of our students are English learners, with Spanish being the primary language, and the Ready, Set, Go program has a proven track record of working with families, especially focusing on Spanish-speaking families in their other sites, and we are looking forward to it being at Shaver and helping to support our goals so that our students can be successful. Thank you.
Do you want to speak the rest of the time, or?
Well, I have been the Ready, Set, Go program coordinator at the North Clackamas School District for 7 years. So I have seen the changes in the families and the need of the families, especially the Latino families. They don't know how to get service for their young children. So I can see the result every day, how they are involved in the school and how the children are getting ready to be kindergarten.
Okay. Thank you. Ken?
Yes, my name is Ken Dell. I'm the Executive Director of Peninsula Children's Learning Center, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to present, and my thanks to the staff and the review teams for rating us the highest among all center-based providers. Peninsula Children's Learning Center has relied on the Portland Children's Levy since it first began. Funds from our lower income families access high-quality, affordable childcare from 6 weeks through preschool, and we're very grateful to be recommended for continued funding by the Portland Children's Levy. In 2012, our funding from the Portland Children's Levy was just under $208,000. And in 2013, this was reduced to $172,000, which is the same amount we're receiving this year. While we recognize that this amount was made up from 2 separate grants, the recommended amount of $150,000 is yet a further decrease, which means we'll have to make some programming decisions. It'd be most helpful in serving our population if funding could remain at the same level we received the past 2 years, which is $172,000. And once again, I'm very, very thankful, though, we're going to be receiving any funding from you folks, and we're very appreciative.
Okay. Thank you all. Okay, how about 3 more applicants? Welcome. And again, if you just give us your name and your organization, and you each have 2 minutes.
We're going to start differently, apparently.
Okay.
Hi, it's nice to see you again. I'm Joy Church from Friendly House. I'm a director there. And first of all, thank you so much for your recommendation for full funding for our preschool. The preschool at Friendly House serves low-income, homeless, and children with disabilities in the Northwest. And this is a vital program, and PCL has been funding us since its inception in 2002. And over that time, the preschool has served numerous young children and their families. With your generous support, the levy has supported low-income children in Northwest Portland, and we've had the opportunity to provide them with high-quality early childhood programming without placing a financial burden on their families. The program has consistently met or exceeded its outcomes, and it is a priority of the program that those most at risk of entering kindergarten already behind their peers receive the best possible start. Each child deserves the right to enter kindergarten ready to learn. Friendly House Preschool is that opportunity for low-income, homeless, and children with disabilities in the Northwest area. We really appreciate your continued support, and we look forward to partnering with you again, and we'd love for you to come visit our preschool.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hi, I'm Nancy Perrin, and I am the program manager with Neighborhood House Early Head Start program. Through our program, we offer a high-quality, intensive home visiting model using tested program models of parents as teachers, the KIPS, the ASQs, which helps us achieve excellent outcomes from our 0 to 3 children and families. One of the other ways we achieve that is through staying compliant with over 2,000 Early Head Start performance standards. We also align completely with the governor's Kitzhaber's early childhood strategy and also the emphasis that the Obama administration has placed on early childhood. We're also an active participant in the Multnomah County early learning hubs that have been established. We currently have all 27 of our slots filled through the PCL funding, and we have a wait list right now of 11 children on our for our program next year, and we also have several pregnant mothers that are interested in the program. I'm going to turn it over now to Peggy.
I'm Peggy Norman. I'm the Associate Director at Neighborhood House. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the proposed location for our program and the fact that we propose an expansion. As you can tell, we already have a full group of people in our program, kids and their families. But in addition, this proposal is an expansion to Stevens Creek Crossing. And so we wanted to go from 27 slots to 50 with the ability to prioritize serving families at this new early childhood center in Southwest. And it represents a demographic shift. Over 50% of those families coming to Stevens Creek Crossing that are already there are from East County. So it's going to be kids who are coming from East County and Clackamas and Washington County right into the middle of Southwest. And we want to have our early childhood services aligned completely with our Head Start services.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, we got 3 more early childhood participants. Are you together? Okay. Okay, well, welcome. So you each have, you have 2 minutes, and give us your name, and then same thing with you, give us your name and your organization, and you have 2 minutes. We'll start with you.
Good afternoon, Commissioner and PCL staff. Thank you for your support during the past 5 years to our Latino community, and also I want to say thank you for your recommendations. My name is Alma Rivera. I am Program Manager from Portland Niños at Hacienda CDC. One of the educational programs Hacienda provides to our community is Portland Niños. Portland Niños is an early childhood education and parenting program that provides home visit and group support to low-income Latino families living in North, Northeast, and East Portland. We have seen the value of our program in Hacienda community. As parent educators, we have the opportunity to identify any development delay in the childhood early stage. Our kids are ready to transition to Head Start and are also well equipped to become lifelong learners. In addition, the goals in our program are to empower parents to be the best teachers to their children. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Did you care to say anything? Or?
Thank you very much.
That's fine. Okay, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Margie McLeod, and I'm a Division Director at Morrison Child and Family Services, and I oversee our early childhood mental health consultation program. And I'm here today wanting to also say thank you and to let you know how much Morrison has appreciated the support from the Portland Children's Levy for early childhood mental health consultation. It's a unique program and a specialized program and needs your support. The two things that I wanted to say today about the program is that I believe that one of the most unique features that we have to offer is a team of highly trained early childhood mental health professionals who are bringing a strength-based mental health perspective to the families and environments where young children are. And that special strength-based focus from a mental health perspective is really important. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that we are ready and very eager to strengthen our program services in East Portland and have had some interest from our community partners about doing that.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Any other early childhood program? Oh, you have 3 together? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and start. Again, give us your name, organization, and you each have 2 minutes. Start with you, Lee.
Sure. My name is Lee Cha. I'm the Associate Director of Virgo, and I appreciate very much the opportunity to speak to you, Commissioner Saltzman, and members of the committee. I'd like to very much just speak about our early childhood programs and the proposal. To begin with, I'd like to really express our gratitude and appreciation toward you and the staff, the many volunteers, and the evaluations and the recommendation for funding for our programs. The PTA model works well for culturally specific population like ERCO's target population. And what this really is all about is that this model is rather than our client coming to us, we would take the services to our client. And so that is what I'm talking about, the home visiting model. And so that is really working well for our population. The one thing that I really like to ask you for consideration is that in our model, we ask to increase the component. And that is that we are experiencing a high needs of kindergarten readiness for our population. And so in order for us to use the preschool-like classroom component to really assist this target population, so that way not only that they need to grow up healthy, but they are prepared to be entered into the school arena or being in the educational arena. And so that is what my asking you for today. And so if there's any possibility at all to reconsider that, our programs and our community would most appreciate of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Good afternoon, Commissioner and members of the committee. My name is Monica Ford, and I work for Morrison Child and Family Services, and I'm pleased to represent the strong ladies who work for Listos para Aprender. They are all out doing home visits as we speak, so I was asked to come in and address the committee. This program has been funded continuously since 2003. Our leader, Lucrecia Farias, has been running this program since then. We're currently serving 120 families and 149 children, and the families are Spanish-speaking who are pregnant or parenting a child younger than 3 or a child who is not yet involved in preschool or Head Start. We currently have 5 families on our wait list. We have multiple referral sources into this program, including a number of healthcare providers, and 80% of our families live east of 82nd Avenue. 99% are Spanish-speaking and Spanish is their first language. All 100% of them are below poverty level. I'm pleased to report that one of our staff, who is part-time, is also a PAT trainer, a Parents as Teachers trainer. There are only 2 Spanish-speaking PAT trainers in the nation, and she is one of them. We're very proud of that. I'm also pleased to report that 99% of our parents rate us as positive in their level of satisfaction with our service. Thank you again for considering funding our program. We're very, very pleased that you considering us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. We have a 3-person participant representation? 3.5. 3.5, okay. Welcome. Again, just give us your name and you have 2 minutes Name and organization, and you have 2 minutes.
Right, thank you. I'm Julie Houston, the Director of Early Childhood and Family Services at Impact Northwest. And here on behalf of our Parent-Child Development Services, or PCDS, we have Mireya and her daughter Denise, and Sara will be providing interpretation. She's our parent-child specialist.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Mireya y me gustaría, pues lo que sé que están hablando de los programas, me gustaría que gentes apoyaran los programas, sobre todo este programa. He estado mucho tiempo en este programa y me han ayudado con diferentes necesidades que he pasado, como por ejemplo asistencia en la luz, con los doctores, cosas así. Y me gustaría que gente hispana tomara en cuenta programas como estos que valen la pena para la educación de nuestros hijos. Y sobre todo que muchos hispanos se dieran la oportunidad de estar en estos programas, no nomás hispanos, de todo tipo de personas. Y quisiera que siguieran apoyando estos programas porque les hace bien para nuestros hijos. Gracias.
My name is Mireya, and I came here to ask for your support for the programs. I have received a lot of support from this program, not just in the child development area, but also with energy assistance, housing. Yeah, I was going to say it in Spanish. And I would like a lot of people, not just Hispanic people, but all kinds of people to come to the program, and because it helps families with parenting.
Y que vean el esfuerzo de los maestros.
And so they can see themselves the effort that home visitors and the facilitators of groups put into.
Como grupos que hacemos, que gentes que los sigan apoyando, los grupos que hacemos entre padres, hijos y maestros.
And please keep supporting the parent and child groups.
Thank you, Mireya. I think also what, my Spanish is rusty, but I think one of the things that we really appreciate about the support in this program is that we've been able to support parents to be their child's first teacher and to support them in getting ready for school when there are other programs that they're not eligible for. And this is often their only preschool experience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Gracias. Any other early childhood program participants? Okay. Then we're ready to move on to our next category, which is foster care. How about a show of hands? How many foster care participants we have? Okay. Let's see, about 6 or 7. So maybe those of you who are upstairs can start working your way downstairs. We have some seats down here. And then we'll go ahead and start with 3. Do you want to come up again from NEA? But you wait 1 second until we fill up one of those other chairs next to you.
We're brave. We'll go first.
Well, I'm not sure what happened to them all.
I don't know.
Any other foster care participants? Oh, Mark? Okay. Come on up, Mark.
There we go.
And
fill it up.
again, just give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes combined each.
I'm going to let Alicia go first.
Hi, my name is Alicia McConnell, and I'm speaking on behalf of NEA. I'm enrolled with the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla. My older sister, my little brother, and I have been in the foster care system for 8 years now. A lot of things have changed in my life, but there is only one program that has been there the whole time on my journey.
Can you speak into the microphone a little bit?
NEA was there for me when I had my family visits. They were also there when my family needed help moving and they needed furniture. NEA was even there to help me pick out my prom dress this year. Without the support of NEA, I honestly don't know where I would be today. Even with the biggest changes in my life, like when my mother regained custody of me this year, NEA has supported me and us physically and emotionally as we continue to mend our relationship. I urge community members to invest culturally specific programs like NAEA's foster care program at the same level as previous years. By cutting NAEA's foster care program funds by nearly $50,000 per year, you will prevent youth like me and families like mine from being reunited and obtaining support.
Thanks, Alicia. Again, my name is Elise Sanchez. I'm the Foster Care Services Manager as well at NAEA Family Center. While the number of youth in foster care is decreasing, the disproportionality for Native Americans is not. We are grossly overrepresented in this system and continue to maintain that level of overrepresentation. The need for foster care services is increasing, and the funding is decreasing across the board from all of our funders. Our program is currently operating with a 40% funding reduction from our original level. We'd like to get back to our original level of funding before we took the 40% cut, but at the very least, we would like to maintain our level of funding that we are currently at. Over the last 5 years of Levy funding, we have identified our strengths, supporting transition-age youth like Alicia and providing the missing cultural link that helps keep families and community together. We are asking the Levy not to send us backward. Our momentum is increasing, and the progress we have made is substantial. Foster care is changing, and NAEA is a key player in a driving force behind that change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Mark?
Good afternoon. My name is Mark McKechnie. I'm the Executive Director of Youth Rights and Justice. I want to thank you, the Allocation Committee, the Children's Levy staff, and most importantly, the residents of Portland for providing the resources for us to serve hundreds of foster children over the last 5 years and help keep them in school so they can be successful. The Schoolworks program serves some of the most vulnerable and at-risk children in the community to ensure they're in school and attending regularly and that they get the support they need to succeed academically, socially, and behaviorally. Youth Rights and Justice represents more than 1,100 foster children each year, and we've served approximately 40,000 foster children since 1975. Our Schoolworks program has served a total of over 2,700 students since the program began in 2002. The combined expertise in child welfare and education law that our advocates possess help produce remarkable outcomes for foster children who experience historically some of the worst outcomes in our school systems of any groups of students. As a result, students who are not in school consistently are now attending more regularly. Students who are behind academically are catching up to their peers. And students experiencing office referrals, restraint, seclusion, suspension, and expulsion are in class and learning. We appreciate the work of the volunteers in rating the RFIs and the recommendation of the staff for 3 more years of funding. With your approval, this will allow us to serve hundreds more foster children in the next 3 years. Thank you for your support in the past, and I hope for it in the future, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next 3. You want to fill the 3rd chair? Or are you together? Or okay. Okay, we'll go ahead. Again, just give us your name, organization, and each have 2 minutes, and we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Tucker. I'm the Program Director at Insights Teen Parent Services. And our ECHO program is up, I guess, for refunding in the foster care category. ECHO provides intensive hands-on parent education and DHS advocacy for teen parents who are in foster care, for teen parents who have their children who are in foster care, and often they are both in foster care. ECHO began as a pilot project in 2009 and was first funded by Commissioner Saltzman and your predecessors, I guess, on the allocation committee, so thank you for that. I just really want to thank the readers and the raters of the proposals for their work and the PCL staff for their very favorable recommendation, and introduce myself to you all and avail myself in the event you have any questions in the next few weeks while you're making your decisions.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Gerald?
Good afternoon. My name is Gerald Deloney. I'm with Self-Enhancement Incorporated, and I'd like to thank the Allocations Committee and the staff for their recommendations to fund our foster care project. The funding that came before was great funding and allowed children to be in a very stable environment. And we know that children in foster care can be moved from place to place to place, but self-enhancement is always there with a very stable program for children to participate in. One of the bigger developments now is that we've had conversations with NAEA, and we're both trying to look at ways to really do this culturally specific kind of foster care for our children that are overrepresented in foster care. So I think this funding actually allows us to start thinking really creative about how we can do this and how we can actually raise this program to the next level. So I just want to thank you all for your consideration in the program.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Like the airport. Hello, I'm Julie Houston again for Impact Northwest Safe and Together foster care program. Along with me is Meg Wills, program manager for Safe and Together. We have written testimony that Meg will read for clients who are unable to be here, and then I will speak if there's time after.
Hi, my name is Meg Wills. I'm the program manager for the Safe and Together program. There were two families that wanted to come today, and one could not due to a housing crisis. They need to move into a motel, and the other one had their gallbladder taken out, but they were both really passionately wanting to speak, and both of them have actually been in the program for over a year and have been receiving intensive home visiting services. One wrote, "Safe and Together helped me and my child become reunited. The following are the ways I think that happened. They helped build my confidence and fight the stigma of being system involved. They had a real honest connection between me, my son, and our Safe and Together worker. It was strengths-based. They described what they were doing the whole time to help build my trust. They stayed patient and calm. They helped me realize I only have control over my actions and not other people's. They constantly were focused on the child returning to me. They connected me with resources. They advocated in court to help judges and attorneys understand how domestic violence has affected me and my son's life and behaviors. Created opportunities for self-worth, saw me as an individual, not just a client. I am grateful for this program and hope it can continue to support other parents who face many challenges in life while going through the difficult process of fighting to change their lives and get their children back in their care. Thank you, Safe and Together client." And then quickly, the other one, I'm just going to pull pieces, wrote, the Safe and Together program helped with transport for our son to and from the visits, emotional support and empowerment in times of crisis, housing connections and food, energy assistance resources. He wrote, "You would be losing many, many parents who rely upon both the services provided, but more importantly, the moral and emotional support. Please, as two parents, we ask that deep and thoughtful consideration before letting this wonderful team and program go."
Thank you. Mike.
Hi, Mike Bolter with Boys and Girls Aid. I think we have a little different look at foster care. The biggest risk facing children in foster care is they're in foster care. And our goal is to get them out as quickly as possible. And as much as we understand and support your efforts to strengthen the success of children in care and help them transition out, we think the most effective thing is to get them out as soon as possible. And we'd ask you to consider some equal weight at looking at strategies that get children out of foster care quickly into families as soon as possible. The major barriers we've identified at young people being successful is that unresolved grief and loss, and we have a new powerful tool that we've been working with DHS in implementing to address that issue. And the other is recruiting and strengthening families so they can accept children who are in deep crisis. And we think that those strategies are not well represented in your current array of programs. Would ask you to look at those. One is the My Story, which is the ability of young people who in repeated placements get to tell their story about grief and loss and prepare them for entry into a family. The other is recruiting families in the Wendy's model, which is looking for those kids who are 14 and older and who are facing aging out. And I think that's our worst case, the notion of kids aging out without a family, without a lifelong connection to a caring adult. We have strategies that we think are effective, have demonstrated effectiveness in resolving those two issues. And just, I think they might be new and unfamiliar, and I think that might have been one of the reasons we weren't rated as highly as we could have been. I think we meet all the other conditions that you express.
Thank you. Thank you all. Welcome. Just give us your name, organization, and you each have 2 minutes unless you're all representing one organization.
We are all representing Friends of the Children, and I'm actually going to cede my time to Gary and Bill and bet him to hear in case there are questions.
So you have 2 minutes combined.
All right, my name is Gary Clemens. I'm Program Development Manager at Friends of the Children. I've been with Friends for over 6 years. This new project will provide 57 foster care youth and their families with a friend for 12 and a half years to reach our long-term outcomes, which are 83% graduate from high school, 93% avoid juvenile detention, 98% avoid being a teen parent. I'm going to tell you a story about Santonio. Santonio was a child that his mother gave up her parental rights when he was a young man. He started acting out because he felt nobody wanted him. He bounced around to 6 different placements. San Antonio friend Herschel helped build his self-confidence, kept him engaged in school, and helped stabilize his living situation. San Antonio is now a senior at Madison High School and will attend Western Oregon University next year and major in computer science. He wanted to be here today, but when we told him the time, he said, I have to go to school. So another outcome of ours is that kids don't get senioritis. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Hitchcock. I'm a retired juvenile court judge from Anchorage, Alaska, where over the last 20 or 30 years I handled primarily child abuse, neglect, and delinquency cases. I'm thrilled to be volunteering as a community member to support Friends of the Children in their program development, and I'm even more thrilled that they want to move more into the area of helping foster kids. The struggles that foster children face, of course, are legion, and one of the worst, of course, one of the most difficult is education. Education and being supported throughout that educational cycle, having a caring, supportive adult relationship which they make with their friend is such a critical need. I only wish we had had a program like this in Anchorage, because it would have really served a population that is tremendously underserved. I thank the staff for their recommendations for funding, and am encouraged to continue this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. We'll go to you next. Okay. Welcome. Are you all representing one organization?
Yes.
Okay, then you just give us your name, the organization, and you have 2 minutes amongst the three of you.
I'm Dana Spears with Impact Northwest. And with me I have Anna and Jareth, and up in the audience I have Ariana. Currently we serve a diverse population of youth ages 14 through 21 with numerous ethnic backgrounds living in North, Northeast, and Outer Southeast Portland. Of those, 64% of the youth are of color. We have volunteers that have committed to teaching these youth life skills such as job searching, mock interviews, tutoring, budgeting, home maintenance, and transportation readiness courses. Our current needs are job readiness support, trade, career exposure, job placement, and trauma counseling due to the trauma that the youth have been exposed to. To fund us, youth that have become self-sufficient don't always have the support that they need to focus on the trauma that has introduced them into care. Impact Northwest has been providing services to youth whom depend on us for continued resources after they have transitioned out of care. In the program, over the past 3 years, 54% of our youth have at least one special need and 27% have a mental illness. What works is meeting with the youth weekly and giving them the support that they need to overcome the milestones and the trauma that they've maintained.
The only downfall about the program is that it stops at age 21, and we feel that foster kids aren't ready to transition at age 21, so we're asking that hopefully the program can expand till age 24.
Hi, I'm Jareth, and I'm currently transitioning into the community, and I've wrote something today or within the week about my transition and how much they helped me, but it is way too much to try to explain how much they helped me through this year or so. But it will be emailed and attached.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome to email us. So,
yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you both. You're all together? Okay, welcome. Just give us your name, organization, and then you have 2 minutes combined.
Hi, Sean Sube, Executive Director at New Avenues for Youth. I want to start by thanking the Allocation Committee for considering Avenues to College and recommending it for funding. There's an urgency in this work for New Avenues, as there's a large number of foster care alumni that find themselves homeless as youth or young adults in the city. We know that for these youth, post-secondary can be a game changer and a ladder out of multi-generational poverty. Unfortunately, only 4% of foster care alumni realize college completion. We believe Avenues to College is a unique partnership that offers the right partners and the right strategies to change that trajectory. I want to introduce Adam, who's an alumni of Act 6, program that this Avenues to College was based after, and now an actual staff for the Portland Leadership Foundation.
Good afternoon. My name is Adam Rissick, and I serve as the Assistant Director of the Act 6 Leadership and Scholarship Initiative. There are over 500 scholars involved in the Act 6 Scholarship Initiative. Just checking my notes. And there are students of color, low-income students, or first-generation college students. With a retention rate of nearly 90%, we're thrilled to leverage the success of this program to work with students aging out of the foster care system.
Hi, I'm Dave Garnand, Executive Director of College Housing Northwest. On behalf of the College Housing Northwest Board and all the staff, we're delighted to be with this incredible team of people and bring our brick and mortar resources along with all of our student services and all the infrastructure that it takes to support students going through college. Our entire organization is based on the notion of communities, and that any connection itself is the single #1 factor in success in completion of college. And with the incredible resources and knowledge that both these organizations have, we believe that our infrastructure and our support team will help make this an incredibly successful and a really exciting adventure.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other foster care applicants wish to speak? Okay, then we'll move to our next area, which is our final area, child abuse prevention and intervention. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Do we have, are you together? Okay. Great, then go ahead, Jimmy, give us your name and your organization, and you have 2 minutes.
My name is Jimmy Dogo. I'm from IRCO, the Immigrant and Refugee Community Organizations. First of all, thank you for supporting the Refugee and Immigrant Child Abuse Prevention and Intervention Program. And also, thank you for rating us the highest, scoring applicant. Through this program, through your support, we will strengthen parenting skill and resilience for immigrant and refugee parents and their children aged 0 to 18. These families all face overwhelming cultural and linguistic barriers to mainstream support service. All of these families show high risk factor for child abuse and neglect, like domestic violence, cultural isolation, low literacy, and trauma. Some of those families have spent so many years in the refugee camp. Some have spent between 17 to 42 years in refugee camp. They're completely isolated. They completely lost, parenting or have a little supervision with the parenting because all the family or parents are struggling to bring the food on the table. When they come here, those families, they bring their children in order to give them a bright future, not to lose their children to Child Protective Service. So when they come here, the culture is different, the parenting style is different. What is considered parenting is considered child neglect or child abuse here. So IRCO, through this program, provide parenting skill to those families so that they can keep the family together and then maintain their children, and also families stay together in order to thrive. We ask your support to fund this program so that we can continue keeping those families together. Recently, we've been working with DHS and also with state child foster program to help those families. Again, thank you so much for your support, and we will continue with your support to provide help for this family.
Thank you. Tony?
Tony Hobson, President and CEO of Self-Enhancement, Inc. I want to acknowledge you, the volunteers, and your staff for some very, very hard work. But having said that, I want to take you back to last week where you had one person come close to calling your process racist, and at the very least anti-Black because of the small number of African-American agencies that are actually in this process. Don't know if that's true, but here's another example of why one might be just a little suspicious. SEI scored 91, in the top 5 scores. You had 12 grants recommended, 7 of which had a lower score. We talk about equity, data, the outlines, the need, disproportionate needs in communities of color. Communities of color, you had a grant to NAIA for Native American culturally specific, a grant to IRCO, culturally specific Asian Pacific Islanders and others, grant to El Programo, Hispano through Catholic Charities, culturally specific Latinos. No culturally specific African American agencies at all were funded in this category. Is there a thought that there is no child abuse in the Black community that is worthy of a culturally specific services? SEI, top ISRS, that means in-home safety and reunification services through DHS. 98% reunification with families. That shows that we know what to do in this area. This is about child abuse prevention. Also, Gerald talked about our foster care, which we've been granted. Child abuse and prevention is directly tied to prevention of foster care. Child abuse and prevention has not been our main program effort, and we're trying to move what we've done in DHS back into the classroom setting or working with the schools, and we've gotten very good at that and expect to get some of the same successful results. In the Black community, is the Black community not worthy of the same culturally specific services in this area that child abuse and prevention has other ethnic groups? If not, what assumption or conclusion would you come to as an African American in this city? You weren't good enough, so Black children and families lose out. There's a limit on total dollars for certain agencies, or is it a bias that has kept too many Black organizations out of this process? Is the data and equity really not that important? I don't really know. But I urge you guys to do some work to find out, and I do believe that the African American not getting anything actually does deserve an answer from this body. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, why don't we start over here to my left. Welcome. Are you each different organizations?
We are.
Okay.
We are.
Okay, great. Then just give us your name, your organization, and you should have 2 minutes, and we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Amy Corbett, Director of Community Services at Metropolitan Family Service. And this is Laura Connectus, our Program Coordinator for Parenting Education. I want to thank the PCL staff for recommending funding for Metropolitan Family Services Nurturing Parenting Program, and thank the Allocation Committee for your service. As rates of child abuse in Multnomah County are increasing, more attention needs to be paid to highly stressed families at risk of being involved in the child welfare system. Metropolitan Family Services parenting education model prevents child abuse and neglect and supports vulnerable families, a PCL priority. The curriculum we deliver, Nurturing Parenting, is an intensive and comprehensive model adapted into multiple languages, including Spanish, and is evidence-based and approved for working with families at high risk of child abuse. Families receive 18 to 27 hours of individual parenting coaching over the course of 12 to 18 weeks. MFS is a SUN provider at Earl Boyles and Lincoln Park, the targeted schools, and therefore familiar with the children and the families and counseling staff who work closely with families in need at these high poverty schools. Families are connected to us through school counselors and offered individual home visits so that we can be responsive to the individual needs of parents and families. Our parent educators offer a holistic service that includes assisting parents in accessing concrete supports to help them meet basic needs and link to resources of the SUN system.
I'm going to talk a little bit about our approach. Our approach is to meet parents in their homes, which strengthens a relationship with families who may be experiencing isolation. Strong success in our Clackamas County pilot project led to state DHS funding for this model with the goal of preventing families from moving farther into the child welfare system and the need for foster care. I strongly urge you to allocate to find this program.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tana?
Good afternoon. My name is Tana Sanchez. I'm the Director of Family Services at NAIA Family Center. And I'd first of all like to thank you very much for allowing us this opportunity to move into this realm of child abuse prevention. As we know, it's a very big issue in our Native community, the engagement with the child welfare system, which isn't always about child abuse. It's often about neglect and poverty, but being able to step into this realm at least allows us to get that information and more education out to our Native community so they can understand what's going on with these issues and why sometimes the child welfare system suggests that they're in some way, shape, or form abusing their children. So it really is a very important piece. And again, I appreciate very much the opportunity. Clearly, we didn't get funded to the degree that we want to. And what I guess I have to say about that is I think we're going to be able to prove that the numbers make sense in the future. And we would ask for additional funding. If we don't get it this time, we will ask for it in the future for an increase in funding, because what we know is in culturally specific communities, we just do it different. It may be the model, maybe it can be done with this amount of money, and that was the statement, that it could be done with this amount of money. But at some point in time, we have to invest in why it is the numbers are so big in the child welfare system for communities of color. At some point, we have to look at that and say, what's going on here, and why does it need to be different? And we just do it different. In the Native community, we do it different. In the African American community, we do it different. Latino communities, we have to do it different because our populations are different. We're not just your standard dominant society, group of people. We have a whole different set of rules based on what we look like and what we've experienced with the historical trauma that we've all experienced. That is very, very different than the dominant society. So the investment needs to be there, recognizing how different child abuse is in those communities of color. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take 3 people from the center aisle here.
Julie Houston from Impact Northwest for the Parent-Child Involvement Project, our PCHIP program. With us is Benita and Zao, and interpreting is Stacy.
Hi, my name's Benita, and I was in an abusive relationship for 9 years. During that time, I had no idea what domestic violence was. When I finally got out, I felt very alone and scared. I was isolated. It was a very scarring experience. So I finally got some help, some counseling from Impact Northwest. And that was started in November of 2012, and it's just amazing what this program has done for me and the education that they've given me on domestic violence. I've been able to, have some sort of healing and get through the pain and work through that. And my daughter and I's relationship has gotten much better, and our communication has just become amazing. And our experience with Impact Northwest couldn't have been any better for us. So we're just asking that you give the support for this program so that we can continue to help families do this. I mean, they've given interpreters for me as well. Do you want to go? Go ahead, talk. You don't have to.
Thank you. PCHIP is our program that works with parents and children who have been impacted by domestic violence by providing evidence-based child-parent psychotherapy model, home visits, and intensive services. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. We have one more person. Oh, there we go. Okay. Welcome. So, are you all one organization or? Two organizations. Okay. Then we'll start with you. Just give us your name, your organization, and you both have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Holcomb from Albertina Kerr, and with me is Peter Rosenblatt. He's our president of Youth and Family Services. And I'm with the Community-Based Services Trauma-Focused Cognitive Behavioral Therapy program. The trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy meets the Levy's priority to address trauma using an evidence-based therapeutic intervention for children who are experiencing negative emotional or behavioral effects from trauma and abuse. If you can imagine that the trauma is a gaping wound in a child's side as she is bleeding out when she comes into your office. Without the training to offer TFCBT, we can imagine that a clinician's treatment can often feel like they're putting on a single brand new Band-Aid every week into this large wound. The Band-Aid is enough that the client is not dying, but not enough that she is healing. Bleeding, fatigue, and infection will persist. Our project provides our therapists with the training to provide intensive and comprehensive trauma-focused CBT. With this proper trauma-focused treatment, our therapists can teach clients about their particular kind of wound, teach the child and the parent and guardian on how to continue to heal the wound in between sessions with the therapist. And we know that TFCBT reduces the symptoms and heals wounds. No more bleeding, no more infection. If we know there's a treatment that works for PTSD and trauma-related mental health issues, we at CUR want to provide it to the children who need it. Our funding request is the smallest request within the child abuse prevention and intervention category, yet our small request can make a significant long-term impact.
One of the exciting things about our request is that with this one-time infusion, we'll be able to transform our community-based services, the work that we do, to such a degree that this will be self-sustaining. We're not only going to be able to train our current staff, but also create an internal pool of trainers to keep this going.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Saltzman and committee members. I'm Ann Rothert, the Program Director for Volunteers of America Family Relief Nursery. I want to thank you for your past support. A mom that I will call Mary and her 2-month-old son, Johnny, came to FRN as part of our parent-infant attachment group. Mary was experiencing a lot of anxiety around her parenting abilities. This anxiety was worsened by Johnny's serious undiagnosed health problems and her partner's abusive behavior. Mary felt hopeless and isolated. Through weekly home visits with her interventionist, a trusting relationship was built until she felt secure enough to ask for support in leaving the relationship. My staff was able to give her the resources and referrals to services she needed. Once she was in a safe place, she was able to focus on her son's needs. Johnny has since been diagnosed with a genetic disease. He meets regularly with several specialists and is receiving early intervention services. Mary tells us she feels much more confident in her parenting with Johnny. Now at 13 months, we get to see Johnny and Mary make direct eye contact and hear them laugh together. Johnny is on the path to a successful transition to early Head Start in the fall, and that's just one of our many stories. Any week at Family Relief Nursery, 78 children attend our therapeutic classrooms, and another 22 participate in respite care 1 day a week. All our families receive home visits covering topics they choose from the evidence-based nurturing parenting curriculum, participate in a 12-week parenting class and access our clothing closet, and receive fresh vegetables from our own garden, among many other resources. Because of growing need, VOA secured expansion funding and in 2012 opened a nursery site in East Portland serving preschool-age children. Children's Relief Nursery expanded in the same direction, and we all know the need in East grows. Both FRN and CRN are essential to providing comprehensive, in-depth services to families at most risk of abuse and neglect. Painfully, all our nurseries have a wait list. VOA's funding request for this year includes our East site, and I ask that we be fully funded so I don't have to turn away any Marys or Johnnies. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. How about from this side? We got 3 people. Are you all together? Or?
Yes, we are.
Okay. If you just give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes between the 3 of you.
Yes, my name's Leslie Brown. I'm from the Children's Relief Nursery. I'm the program director. And I have with me Michelle and Sarah. Michelle's from our North Portland site, and Sarah's from our East Portland site. They're both parents of the Children's Relief Nursery. CRN helped both of them to reduce risk in their families by providing a nurturing place for their young children to thrive and get the support they need. We work to protect the young child's developing brain and promote healthy parent-child relationships. We provided them intensive home visiting therapeutic classrooms. We have a parent-infant class, and we have respite care, a USDA food program for breakfast and lunch, and evidence-based young child mental health services, child-parent psychotherapy. And thanks to the generous support of the Children's Levy, we have 2 locations now. In 2012, we served 227 children in North Portland and 64 children in the East Portland site. But currently, our East Portland site has a waiting list of 32 children. Our east site is located in the target area identified as high priority by the Children's Levy. And we've noted a high rate of premature births at that site, 12 out of 24 children in our classroom, 8 of them homeless. At our St. John site, it's also a priority site, serving 27% Latino families. Our staff out there, we have 7 of them that are bicultural and bilingual. In our application to the levy, we're asking for a level of funding to maintain our present services, but also add an additional toddler class out in our east site of up to 8 children in a classroom, serving 12 to 13 per year. CRN serves the youngest of the young, and we speak for the babies in our community to give them a voice. If our babies were here today, they would speak and they would say, invest in babies. They're a good return on the dollar.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Would you like to come up? You're all together? Okay. So if you just give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes amongst you.
My name is Kat Kelly, and I'm here with El Programa Hispano Proyecto Única with Catholic Charities. And just real quick, I wanted to thank you all for prioritizing domestic violence and for prioritizing culturally specific services. It is essential. It's life-saving. Thank you for doing that. We wanted to emphasize the need for mental health services to the Latino community who have extremely high barriers to accessing mental health services in the city of Portland. Linguistically and culturally specific access to these services is virtually non-existent, and the few programs that do exist are extremely overwhelmed. So thank you again for prioritizing mental health, domestic violence, and the Latino community.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ingrid González y soy una sobreviviente de violencia doméstica. Doy gracias al programa PISH por ayudarme y al comité por ayudar a la comunidad latina.
Ingrid Gonzalez. Yeah, my name is Ingrid Gonzalez, and I just want to thank the committee and for helping this program and helping me. Yeah.
El programa me ha ayudado a fortalecer mis debilidades y a confiar en mí misma.
The program has helped in strengthen my weaknesses and to have self-confidence in myself.
Cómo a tratar a mis hijos después de un trauma de violencia doméstica, ayudar a ellos en sus temores, en sus dudas, para poder ser y ayudar a otras personas y el respeto a las personas.
How to help treat my children after the domestic violence trauma, and how to help them gain their confidence and help with their doubts and their fears.
El programa también me ha ayudado a fortalecer mis objetivos y mis metas después de este trauma para un futuro mejor para mí y mis hijos.
The program has also helped treat my goals, my objective goals, and to strengthen my security in my future as well.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Alejandro Lara. I'm a domestic violence survivor. That's kind of funny. A lot of people, they not seeing it like a man is being like that, but in this program, they help me a lot. They realize it's no way that just only women. Men do too, you know, and they make myself be secure, and they've been helping me with that, understand the traumas in my kid. They've been a single father and understand a lot of things I'm not used to understanding in the beginning that situation. So I really ask you guys to help us to making these communities keep better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. That's it.
Gracias.
Okay, we'll go to, how about the center group here? So are you two together? Or?
We're together.
Okay, but you're not.
I'm not.
Okay, we'll start with you. Give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay. My name is Kate Blackmore, and I'm the program supervisor for Communities for Safe Kids with Impact Northwest. We are one of the area's only primary violence prevention programs of this depth and intensity to work with grades pre-K to 5. Annually, we serve 2,000 students, staff, and parents, classroom by classroom. We have 12 local high-poverty elementary schools on board for next year with students, staff, and parents that are hungry for the education we provide, but we absolutely cannot serve all of them without PCL funding. We are not just a prevention program. We are the first line of contact for many children to get help and get the intervention that they need. I want to share a quote from one of the many school counselors we work with, Elizabeth Dawson at Boise Elliott Humboldt, which is 87% of the students are economically disadvantaged. I'm just one person, and they're able to do the things that I can't do. They are the extra pairs of eyes and ears among a school of more than 500 students. Communities for Safe Kids works with many children who are being physically, sexually, or mentally abused or witnessing domestic violence that slip through the cracks. These are the children who have not yet stepped forward about their abuse because they weren't able to identify a safe adult before our program. They didn't know that they deserved to get help. They didn't understand that the abuse that they experienced was not their fault. We are primary prevention and intervention, and we are absolutely necessary if we want to work toward alleviating the problem of child abuse. Chris Doherty, counselor at Jason Lee Elementary, which is 79% economically disadvantaged, shared with me that as a result of our domestic violence workshops, there are a number of children who stepped up and said that this is something that their family deals with, and that it's scary, and that they don't know what to do about it. These are children, like, pre-K to 3. It's scary for them, and he feels that this would not have come to his attention or the teacher's attention had we not opened the door for that student to deal with the issue of DV.
Thank you. Okay, give us your name and organization, and you have 2 minutes between you.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Penkin. I'm from LifeWorks Northwest, and I'm the Division Director for Children, Youth, and Families. And I'm representing the Family and Community Alliance program, which has been working to reduce child abuse by working with families who've been referred to the DHS hotline for abuse to prevent further instances and reports of abuse through our home and community-based family skills training and care coordination services. We've been operating for 15 years with excellent outcomes that we have not had any of our engaged families have any incidences of abuse while engaged in care and no founded reports of abuse or neglect for 90 days and 180 days following intervention with the Family and Community Alliance. We appreciate the funding and the support we've had for the last many years, and what we are looking to do, as always, is improve upon our practice and work to support better engagement with those families that are most reluctant to engage by introducing an outreach component to this project. We'd like to improve our engagement and participation rates, and we propose to increase the level of services offered by providing education, consultation, coaching, and referral to those who are making the child abuse reports so they learn how to better navigate our system. We believe that our enhanced services create better services, better outcomes, and decrease reduction in child abuse.
I'm Dr. Mark Lewins. I'm the Vice President of Clinical Services at LifeWorks Northwest, and I'd like to thank the Portland Children's Levy for their ongoing support of this program, and we really appreciate the fact that the reviewers did a very diligent job and rated this program very highly. I think, again, we have a proven track record of success, not to say that we meet the needs of the community, because the needs are significantly larger, but again, as Amy stated, the outcomes are there to show that this is an effective approach. And again, we're always looking at how to improve and enhance and increase the engagement rate and number of clients who are served. So again, thank you very much for your support and for allowing us to provide this.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you. Go over here to my left. Are you three together?
We are, yeah.
Okay. So welcome. You each have, give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes amongst the three of you.
Great. My name's Deborah Steinkoff. I'm the Executive Director of Bradley Engel, a social service agency that's been serving survivors of domestic violence and their children for 40 years. I'm here today with Robin Davis, our Healing Roots advocate, and Renee Anderson, who's the manager of our Youth and Family Support Services program. The families we work with are struggling with many challenges related to the intersections of poverty, violence, and trauma. Over 1/3 of the families we work with at our emergency shelter and at our resource center in North Portland are also child welfare involved. We also know that communities of color are disproportionately impacted by domestic violence and poverty and are overrepresented in the child welfare system. Culturally specific approaches that rely on evidence-based practices are important if we're to help families of color achieve economic security excuse me, and break family legacies of poverty and violence. We work closely with the Alberta Child Welfare Branch. In fact, we have a domestic violence advocate co-located there to work with the CPS team. We're there because we know that over 60% of the cases that come to the attention of the Alberta branch are families also dealing with domestic violence. We want to help them achieve better outcomes. If we are to effectively help vulnerable families attain the safety, stability, and social connectedness they need to thrive, we need holistic approaches that address the intersectionality of the issues they're coping with. And we need to offer opportunities to build their resiliencies. That's what we aim to do with this Portland Children's Levy grant. We're already doing this work with a family advocate who works with East County families at risk or involved with the child welfare system, with funding through the Defending Childhood Initiative of Multnomah County. With support from the Children's Levy, we'll expand that program to include a family advocate to work with families in our Healing Roots program, a culturally specific program for African American survivors that has been a core service since 2007. In addition to leveraging our involvement in the Defending Childhood Initiative, we'll use an extensively researched parenting support program that has demonstrated impact across cultures and regions. We'll combine home visits and group interventions for both moms and their kids. Some of the outcomes we expect from this initiative are increased use of positive parenting strategies, increased confidence in their parenting abilities, reduced parental stress, and improved parent-child relationships. Long-term, we believe that providing intensive resources and early intervention to families struggling with poverty, violence, and trauma disrupts the intergenerational nature of domestic violence. It's an upstream approach and a worthwhile investment. We appreciate the opportunity to add sorely needed supportive services for African American families who lack access to resources they need to build strong and stable families.
Deborah, you have to wrap up because you're over your time.
And appreciate the opportunity to share ideas with you today. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you all. Okay, let's go to the middle here. There's one chair available. Is there a one person? Kevin, come on up. Welcome. So you're together, I assume? Okay.
Together.
So you each just give us your name, your organization, and you have 2 minutes between you. So.
Hi, I'm Linda Arata. This is Michelle Reynolds. We're from VOA Home Free. Thank you for giving us the chance to speak with you about our application. Home Free has been providing relationship-based and trauma-informed therapeutic advocacy for children exposed to batterers for over 20 years. Our approach to service and support derives from a deep experience with hundreds of children and their survivor parents. Kids have told us they love coming to our group sessions because they say there's no other place where they can express their feelings to others who understand. Addressing the levy's first priority, our location at the Gateway Center enables VOA to reach underserved groups at rates well above their representation in Portland's population. We have a collaboration with NAYA for some of our prevention activities, and we're building collaborations with SEI to expand our reach and capabilities. Addressing the committee's second priority, our evidence-informed work is in line with the philosophy and practices of Boston's Child Witness to Violence Project, Dr. Bruce Perry's recommendations for trauma-exposed children, and the advocacy recommendations of Susan Schechter and Jeffrey Edelson of the Minnesota Center Against Violence and Abuse. Our services can be compared with the Minnesota Prevention Program Free Pops and the NCTSN recommended group treatment for children affected by domestic violence.
And I would like to speak with you on intensity of services. Some interventions can last weeks, months, or even years. Our interventions may only last a few hours, but those hours are critical. I would like to share one family's story, a mother who fled an abusive home with her 11 and 1-year-old daughter. After living in a car, they ended up at the Gateway Center. Mom dropped her daughter off. While they seemed a bit apprehensive, staff quickly engaged them in activities. While her children were safe, Mom was able to obtain a restraining order, get motel vouchers, food, clothing, and connect to other services and future resources and support. When she came back to pick her daughters up, she was amazed to see them happy and smiling, and her younger daughter taking steps, as that was a newly acquired skill that she hadn't been able to practice while being in a car. These stories repeat themselves daily at the Gateway. 3 hours can save a life, and I thank you for your time and urge your support.
Kevin.
Good afternoon. My name's Kevin Dowling, and I work as a program manager at CARES Northwest. I was glad to see that our application scored so well, and I was delighted that staff recommended funding trauma-focused therapy for victims of child abuse. I was surprised, though, that staff recommended not funding the child abuse assessment portion of our program, and they noted it was because a one-time service is not considered therapeutic. That one-time service at CARES reflects an evidence-based model that's adopted throughout the country, and it's accredited by the National Children's Alliance. And it's based on this premise that a child abuse assessment at a program like CARES Northwest is the most effective, cost-efficient, therapeutic way that a community can respond to child abuse. We're the only child abuse intervention center in Portland, and that one-time service is actually hours and hours of many different professionals' time. We're the only place that brings together doctors, nurse practitioners, master's level child abuse interviewers, intake counselors, therapists, police, child protective service workers, and Multnomah County mental health providers, so that a family and a child doesn't have to go from place to place to place over the course of weeks when they're worried that their child's been abused. That's what used to happen in our community, and it wasn't therapeutic. We think a coordinated response to child abuse at CARES Northwest is one of the best ways to implement one of the Levy's key strategies, address trauma through therapeutic intervention. And we believe the Levy has a role to play in directly intervening in child abuse. By investing in CARES, you're helping make sure that all children have access to a caring, expert child abuse assessment in collaboration with our community partners. And through that collaboration, you're helping those community partners hold offenders accountable. And by holding offenders accountable, you're helping prevent children from being abused, and you're promoting the health and safety of all Portland's children. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you. Thank you all. Let's see, 2 people? Is there anybody else on child abuse prevention intervention? Right. You're 2? Okay. Welcome. Are you together? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Then just give us your name, your organization, and you each have 2 minutes, and we'll.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Terry Ellis, and I am the clinical manager of Child and Family Services at NARA Northwest. NARA is an organization that's had a 44-year history of being mission-driven and spirit-led. In 2013, we served 5,000 people in this county, primarily self-referred. Over 30% of those people were homeless, 50% were fathers and males, which is relevant to this application, and that was part of our intervention focus. We are an effective, stable organization with proven services and positive outcomes. And we do provide, we have 7 locations that provide services in all the zip codes outlined in the RFI. A research result of our 6-year SAMHSA grant has been the unfortunate confirmation that abuse and neglect are rooted in historical and multi-generational trauma. Through this grant, we developed a clinical team and skills needed to provide 18 evidence-based practices related to trauma and attachment. We also developed 8 services related to intervention in self-sufficiency, DHS, and with foster children. After all of that knowledge and information, which is important to us on a daily basis as we are able to intervene around child abuse, it remains clear that the best intervention is prevention. Our proposal makes use of NARA's integrated health services to prevent transmission of child abuse prenatally and through the all developmental stages of the parent-child relationship. We are known for being able to work with drug, alcohol, and domestic violence, and that would also be a focus of our intervention. The focus population is the caregiver, and we did qualify in all RFI priorities. Neuroscience reveals that our current behavior affects the next 7 generations, which is consistent with our native knowledge that our work is for 7 generations past and future. We look forward to the progress that this funding will provide to the entire community and ask that once again you reconsider our funding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Faye Schuler, and I'm the director of West Women's Salvation Army West Women's and Children's Shelter. And we were one of the initial parent-child involvement project grantees. And we are so very thankful to be recommended for funding again this year. Our program has always been able to meet outcomes and without concerns. This time of year is always very difficult, or going through this process again, because there's so many worthy programs out there. And I just want to, I really want to encourage funding for all of the parent-child involvement programs. We know that there's such a high co-occurring issue of domestic violence and child abuse and sexual abuse, and that it's very important to address those needs. Our parent-child involvement program starts at our at West Women's and Children's Shelter, where we have up to 60 women and children who are fleeing domestic violence. Our parent-child specialist works with the children at shelter in a very warm environment in a nurturing moms group. She's also able to work with them through the schools, through educational advocacy, and when they move out, through a home visiting program. And the program lasts as long as the parent likes. So as long as they are in still seeking services and still seeking support, we are there. We know that these recovering from the cycle of domestic violence is very long-standing, and it comes up with new relationships, new transitions in each child's life. I just want to share just a couple of quotes from our clients who cannot be here because it's unsafe for them to do so. My parent-child specialist has been a great help. She has been able to answer any question I had concerning my kids. The nurturing group she teaches has been great to attend, so I may be able to meet other moms. We can bounce ideas off each other, get questions answered, and get things we may not have even thought of. Please allow this program to continue. My parent-child specialist has been extremely helpful to me in raising my 7-month-old baby. I hope to work with her long after I leave the West. I am glad I am able to come to her nurturing group. I learn something new each week. So I just also know you all had such a horrible job in deciding which programs to fund, and I just thank you for recommending us, and
thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Thank you both. Come on up. Is there anybody else? Any other child abuse prevention intervention? Okay, then you're the last ones.
Great.
But you still only have 2 minutes.
Promise. Promise.
Yeah. But give us your name. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany Tucker again from Insights Teen Parent Services. On your notes, I think we're listed as SEEDS Janus for this category because Insights is a program of Janus Youth Programs, a subset of Janus Youth Programs. This time it's our SEEDS program that has been receiving funding from the Children's Investment Fund, I guess, since the inception all those years ago. SEEDS provides home visiting parent education for teen parents, and it's important to know about SEEDS that Multnomah County has a very elaborate, the Multnomah County Health Department has a very elaborate system of early childhood programming set up for parents and children that are considered to be at risk. And as things have moved towards evidence-based, there's evidence-based programs create significant gaps. And one of the gaps is the age of the child to be eligible to be enrolled in the county health programs. And I will now stop talking. This is Wendy, who's been with SEEDS for about 18 months, and I'm not sure if it's in her comments, but just 2 weeks ago, we spent about an hour together at the Multnomah Athletic Club when she received a scholarship. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Wendy Torres, and I'm part of the SEEDS program at Insights Teen Parenting Program for 1.5 years. I've benefited from being in this program because I have an amazing social worker that empowers me to be a great mom to my son, encourages me to continue my educational goals and personal, helps me build my confidence, gives me resources on my son's development, and my own meets all the requirements to me. And I'm very glad to be part of this amazing program, and I thank you for your support and funding the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both.
At the end.
Okay, allocation committee members have any questions of staff or before we adjourn? Any statements? Okay. Well, I just want to say, as you know, we have many more dollars in request than we have money available to invest, and it's a very hard decision because there's a lot of great organizations out there doing wonderful things for our children. I want to thank the staff again for their hard work in reviewing all the applications and creating the supporting documents. I also want to thank the 80 or so reviewers who did such a great job reading and scoring the applications. The allocation committee will meet next on Friday, May 30th from 9 to 11 a.m. Here in the City Council chambers for funding decisions in the hunger relief and mentoring and after-school investment areas. And then we will meet on Monday, June 2nd from 1:30 to 3:30, again here at the City Council chambers, to make funding decisions on early childhood, foster care, and child abuse prevention intervention. Updates on this process can be found at the portlandchildrenslevy.org website. And you can also find all of our email addresses if you wish to contact us in the next week or so with any other additional information we should consider before we make our decisions in the next couple weeks. Again, Multnomah County Chair Marisa Madrigal could not be here today, but she will review the testimony online, and I'm sure she'll be here at our next meetings prepared to make decisions. Thank you all, and we stand adjourned.